What is good, you guys? In this video, I want to talk a little bit about the negative side or the bad side about working in food service. So, not to throw anybody off, if this is a career that you want to get into, and you're looking to get into food service, the hours are good. Well, depending what company, the hours will be good. The pay is pretty good, and you're home every day. So, not a lot of places where you can get that good type of money and those hours, and that lifestyle. So I just, not to throw you off or derail you from pursuing this type of career. I've been here over a year and I'm still kicking it. I just want to talk a little bit about what not everybody talks about, the bad side of it, what you got to go through out there. So I'm gonna start off with when you first get the job and everything. At first it's gonna be real tough. You're gonna get sent out there with someone that's gonna be pretty much training you, but he's just a regular driver as well. It's not like they have people that are trained to train people. You feel me? It's just you're gonna be out there with a regular driver, and he's just gonna teach you what he knows. Whenever I have somebody set with me that's new, I try to teach them as much as I can, and as we're going through the day, I'm trying to give them tips and tricks. But back to what the bad side of it is, the first few days you're gonna be real sore because especially if you're not used to doing any of that lifting and all that walking. You're gonna feel it on your feet, on your back, on your arms. You're gonna feel fatigued. If you're not used to this, it's gonna hit you real hard. When I first started, it hit me really hard. My arms were sore. I felt bad, but eventually your body's gonna get used to it. My body's already gotten used to it. You are gonna get used to that. Your body's not gonna feel sore anymore. You're gonna be less tired. You'll still feel tired because it's a physical job. But just not as much as before. You'll be able to recover from the tiredness a lot faster. So besides that, getting to learn all the stops, this and that, driving the truck, if that's your first driving job, that's all regular things you need to get used to. There's certain things that happen out there that is just like, bruh, you just wanna you wanna blame somebody and just get mad and this and that. And the main thing I wanna focus on is, staying relaxed, being positive as much as you can. Like, one of the worst things that can happen when you're on a route is when the warehouse messes up, the loading diagram, or they just load you incorrectly. And this can take a big toll on not even like your fatigue, how tired you're gonna get, the more work you gotta do, and it's gonna mess you up mentally as well. I want to talk a little bit about that. Like, one of the things that they can do is put the wrong pallet in front of in front of another one. So let's say I get to my first stop, right? Put down the ramp, get in the trailer. When I go to start down stacking the first pallet, I go to the cooler section. I want to start down stacking the first pallet, and I see, hold up, I have stops between 3 to 5 on this pallet, and I'm at my first stop, so it should be number 1 on here. So you take a peek at the pallet behind the one that's in front of you, and that pallet has stops 1 and 2 on it. So now what do you have to do? First time this happens to you, you're gonna go ahead and call, one of the managers. You're gonna call the warehouse, and what are they gonna tell you? Oh, just how many cases are on there? You could just throw it to the side and keep it moving, and that way, you get those cases, throw it to the side, and you can reach the pallet that's behind it, and you keep it moving. Or if you want, depending how far you are from the warehouse, they'll send you back to the warehouse so you can rearrange it right quick, then send you on. But when you're over 30 minutes away, just to drive is gonna be 30 minutes over there, 30 minutes back. But it's not just an hour, because it's 30 minutes over there. Let them rearrange it. The people in the warehouse are probably gonna already be gone. So then they're gonna have to find someone who can drive one of the forklifts from the warehouse, then move it. It's a process. It's gonna be almost 2 hours until you get back to your first stop. So you're gonna, delay yourself 2 hours, especially when you're first starting off, or even let's say me, if it happens to me now, am I gonna really want to waste 2 hours to just start bringing down cases in my first stop? Or you're gonna take 20 minutes or 15 minutes, however long it's gonna take you to downstack that whole first pallet, even though how tiring it's gonna be? Are you gonna want to downstack all of that to then start downstacking from that, from everything you need to unload off that first stop? I prefer doing that, even though it's gonna take a toll more on your body, and you're already gonna be frustrated. So, main thing I do when something like this happens to me is I walk in there, whatever. Once I notice that what's going on, boy, you just want to scream like, F these people at the warehouse. No offense. I know you guys doing your job, and I appreciate you guys in the warehouse too. But when you see it happen, you want to blame somebody. You just want to blame somebody. You guys don't understand if it's happened to you before. So first thing I do is I get mad. I walk outside the trailer, take a deep breath. If I have some coffee with me, I drink some coffee. I got my vape. I hit the vape and just try to relax, and then, mentally just, it's all right. Let's keep it moving. We're getting through the day. Ish happens, right? It happens. So I try to just calm down, get away from it, step outside, take a little walk, boom. Get back in there and keep it moving. I start downstacking. But remember, now you downstack that whole first pallet, right? Because it was in the way of the one you need to get to. You put everything to the side, even pick up the pallet, put that to the side too. So now, not only do you have those cases here on the side of the wall in the trailer, but you still got these pallets next to you. So now you have an even narrower, pathway to get to walk in and out of the trailer. Especially if it's your first stop, that trailer's full, man. That's it. You don't even know if you have enough space to be able to be putting cases on the side of the trailer. You might have to put it on top of the pallets that are next to you on the dry section. However you got to do it, you got to do it. I mean, I prefer doing that than wasting so much time going back to the warehouse. 2 hours, now you're 2 hours delayed on the whole route. So that means instead of finishing at 3 o'clock, you might finish at 5 or even more. I'd rather not even go through that, because the later it gets, the more traffic there is too. So, that's just my tip. Staying positive, just trying to clear your mind right quick. Whenever something happens, take some deep breaths, blow it off, relax, and keep it moving. You're there to do a job, and you just make it happen. Another thing is, what's happened to me before, almost every single pallet on the trailer has been flipped backwards. So, I mean, it will still be that pallet for the stop, right? So let's say I get there and I see it says, oh, this is the pallet with stops 1, 2, and 3 on it, and I get to my first stop. So then, all right, bet. And all I see is number 3 in front of me though. That means it's backwards, because usually a pallet has 1 in front of you, then 2 is in the middle, and then 3 would be in the back. Depending how many cases each stop gets, depends how many cases are from different stops are gonna be in that one pallet, if that makes any sense. So if it's backwards, I'm gonna have 3, then 2, then 1. So I would have to downstack 3, downstack 2, then to get to stop number 1, right? So boom, I'll do stop number 1. Stop number 2 is already gonna be put to the side. My tip for you when this happens is, don't just throw everything to the side, boom, 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 maniacally. Like, organize it as you're downstacking it to the side. You get me? So let's say if I have 3, I'm gonna put 3 right here, all of number 3. Even if I see number 2s, I'll move it a little bit further back. 2s to the back, and 3 stay right next to me on this wall. So that way, when I finish stop number 1, when I finally get there, boom, I kill stop number 1. Once I get to my second stop, I'm gonna have all of number 2's cases at a certain side and 3 apart. So boom, I'll hit number 2, then I'll hit the dry section of number 2, whatever, and then I'll have number 3 when I get to number 3 stop. Then when I get to the next pallet, same thing, right? It'll be flipped backwards. So then I gotta downstack, it would be 4, 5, and 6. So I'll downstack 6, fix it up, then 5, and also fix them up, 6 over here on this side, 5 over here on this side. And once I get to number 4, then that's what I'm gonna be taking down. And that's how you gotta kind of go through the day. That's happened to me, I think, I don't know, 1 or 2 times. I can't remember right now. But stuff like that happens. Another thing that can happen is they might not strap up the pallets. And then when you're driving, you get to the first stop, you open up the back doors, and you see a certain pallet has fully fallen, or maybe it's 2 pallets. The worst one for me, I feel like happens, and I feel like it's a little bit more of a chance that it'll happen, is the freezer. Because what they like to do is leave a space right in front of that door and put everything on one pallet. I feel like it'll be more common sense. Just use both pallets. If you have 2 spaces, instead of building big ass pallet, just break it in half, and you have 2 pallets the same size with the same amount of cases, or roughly the same amount of cases. But they want to put everything on one pallet, so you got like freaking 60 cases on one pallet this tall, and sometimes they forget to strap it. So when you get to your first stop, boom, you finally open that freezer door and everything's all up in your face, and you see that thing fell from the back. That's one of the worst ones, because there's no space in there. There really is no space in there. So what I do, obviously, deep breath, step back, F this, F that, get it out of my system right quick, you know, and then hop up in there. If I see that stop number one got 10 cases, I gotta dig through those 10 cases. Because remember, if you're at your first stop, then they should have been at the front of the pallet, right? The pallet, it should have been on the front of the pallet, your first stop. But guess what? When something falls, the front of it is gonna fall first, and the back of it is gonna just collapse all over. So what you gotta do now? I gotta step in there, start throwing hella cases behind it. Just start throwing. I'll start finally seeing stops from number one. Bleep, scan them, and then I might just even throw it on the floor if I have no space. Just fling them off the trailer sometimes. Sometimes you have no choice. So just bleep, that. There's certain things that happen. And I know I'm over here saying, kind of blaming it on the dudes at the warehouse, you know, the guys and girls that working in the warehouse. But at the moment, that's all you want to do, just blame somebody. Oh, these people fall, they're messing up my day. But, you know, I understand it's a tough job too. Like, I'm not in their shoes. I don't know what they go through, but I know the schedule. It's a tough schedule. It's like a night shift. So then you're pretty much like an owl. You're sleeping in the day, working at night. And I understand, you know, you want to do some things in the day, so you might not get enough sleep. It's harder to sleep in the day. You got the sun out. You might have some things to do when you do them in the daytime. So you barely get sleep, I guess. And I don't really know the steps that you take to work in the warehouse. Like, I don't know exactly what it is that they do. I know they build the pallets and then they load the pallets up in the trailer. I don't know how bad it is. I have never worked in a warehouse, but I know the little, you know, the basic things that you would have to do. Like, I know you just get a pallet and you're riding around in the little forklift with the pallet, stacking it one by one, getting everything that you need to get from that from those stops, put it all together, and then you start building the pallets correctly, in order how they're supposed to. And I understand that there's a lot of new guys in the warehouse too. There's a lot of new hires, because since it's such a tough job, not a lot of people want it. Then people are constantly, you know, quitting, new people coming in. I know it's good money, but it is a tough job, and the schedule is probably the worst thing out of everything. Like, so I understand why there's just, you know, it's a large turnover rate. But whatever. Besides the point, back to, you know, the driver. If I'm out there and certain things happen, the main thing you can do is just, you know, let off what you need to let off, blow the steam off right quick, and just keep it moving. Stay positive minded. You know, just the main thing is breathe in, breathe out, big deep breaths, just to keep it moving through the day. And I just wanted to give you guys a little insight of what it is like, you know, some of the bad parts. What are some of the bad parts or bad things that happen while you're working in food service that you can't really control, and how you deal with them. You know, at the end of the day, like, everybody's gonna act different when they come across certain situations. And I know some people have shorter tempers than other people, but kind of what I'm getting to is just, you know, stay relaxed. At the end of the day, don't kill yourself. Like, you just want to do the job and get home. And yeah, something might take you 10 minutes more to do because of something happened, or even 20 minutes, depending how severe, you know, they messed up in the back or whatever. But main thing is keeping a positive mindset. Just keep it moving. Think of just, yo, at 3 o'clock, I know I might finish. 4 o'clock, and now I might take an hour longer, 5 o'clock, whatever it is. But just know you keep it moving. And stay up. This is your boy Yatted. Subscribe. And I'll see y'all boys in the new one.